Last year, for the first time, we took students on a service learning trip to the Dominican Republic, to Bate Isabella, which is a sugarcane settlement, mostly of people who immigrated from Haiti. And the purpose of this trip was to have the students join up with members of the community to build a basketball court. So in order to do this, they had to first do fundraising. The court cost is $5,000, and then each of them had to raise, I think it was around $1,600 maybe, $1,500, somewhere in that range, for their individual fees. And they also took a global citizenship class where they learned about issues in volunteer tourism and learned about the Dominican Republic, learned more about some of the ethics of international charity, and they did all this fundraising. I wanted to try to demonstrate that there are some other ways to do fundraising besides just hesitantly asking your mom to give you 25 bucks. So I went to my department, Counseling, Psychology, and Human Services, and I asked whether people would be willing to bid on my summer hairstyle, either collaboratively or to the highest bidder for the different components of the hair, and that money would go toward lowering the students' costs for the Courts for Kids trip. So that's what I did, and got a very positive response both in my department and to some extent from outside of it. So this is what we wound up with. So far I've raised about $1,300 to $1,400 toward lowering the costs for the individual students to go on the trip. I'd like to hit $2,000 in my fundraising efforts this year. I think being willing to embarrass yourself is in some ways just a louder version of be willing to ask people if they're able to give you money to support a cause that you've described to them or brought to their attention or shown them photos of. People are really afraid to just ask for money, and I think often we do it in ways that undo the asking. And so being creative about it and being willing to look a little bit silly for a good cause, I think, is a way to build the relationships with people that make them feel like it's more worthwhile to give to that cause. So it was pretty intense, and we did a lot of heavy processing with the students every night about what is this to you, and how do you make sense out of this, and what do you wish you had known beforehand. And then they were able to follow that up with papers afterward about what that experience was for them in retrospect. And what they've had to say about it was just what you would hope, that it was life-changing, that it made them think about communities and poverty and volunteerism and making donations and the world and themselves in different ways.